statistical.
Okay, Jay Fallon here. This is the Slippery Slope. Today's episode is going to be fairly cut and dry. Not a lot of commentary as such or opinion, uh, but just stating the facts as have come out in this report by Alex Berenson. I like reading Alex Berenson's reports. His Substack full of a lot of information. We're going to go through this latest report that came to me this morning. I was reading it. So the headline says urgent cancer deaths rose in Japan in 2022 and 2023 post mRNA COVID shots. Thus, the reason why there's not a lot of commentary. So, yeah, just going to go through, just read through this for you with you. I'll bring it up so everyone can check it out. I would encourage you to check out Alex Berenson's Substack yourself. There's a lot of good reports on there. He's still fighting the good fight for against COVID, and he got caught up in it all and basically attacked by Joe Biden's White House. Anyway, let's go through this report here. So there's the headline there. Yep, cancer deaths rose in Japan 2022, 2023. So the jump was small, but statistically significant, with leukemia deaths almost 10% above normal. This is the clearest signal to date of a link between COVID vaccines and cancer. Japan had about 12,000 more cancer deaths than expected in 2022 and 2023. Japanese researchers reported in a preprint today. The increase was small in relative terms, about 2% more deaths than expected, but it reached statistical significance, meaning it is probably not a chance finding. It offers the strongest evidence yet that mRNA jabs may cause cancers in some people. Further, the cancer that caused the most extra deaths was leukemia, an immune system cancer that might most directly be impacted by the mRNAs. Leukemia deaths rose 8% annually, over 1,300 extra deaths in total. On a monthly basis, the sequence is striking, with leukemia deaths clearly jumping after vaccinations began in 2021. The researchers acknowledged they could not prove the mRNA shots had caused the increase in deaths, but they called for an urgent inquiry. The numbers from Japan are particularly important because Japan used the mRNA-based COVID vaccines almost exclusively and had high jab coverage. It also has an excellent medical system and records and a relatively healthy population, so it has fewer confounders, which is known or unknown variables that might bias these results. People are more likely to die from cancer as they age, and Japan's population is aging rapidly. So demographic researchers have to adjust for the average age of a population to fairly compare changes year by year. These researchers did so, using techniques very similar to those that Japan's official government agencies use. They reported 7,160 extra deaths in 2022, about 2.1% above the expected total, and 4,730 in 2023, 1.4% above expectations. So if you are following along in video, you'll see that there's a chart that comes up which shows annual rates of leukemia deaths in Japan adjusted for age, and that's what's coming up on the screen here on the left and right, two different charts there. It goes on the report saying, besides leukemia, several other types of cancers showed statistically significant increases, including prostate and oral cancers. Skin cancers rose notably in 2023. but the increase did not quite reach statistical significance. Deaths from ovarian cancers rose even more relative to baseline than leukemia, but ovarian cancer is less common than leukemia, so the absolute rise was lower, about 900 extra deaths. The researchers acknowledge that they did not know the vaccination status of the people who had died, and so could not directly link the rise in deaths to the mRNAs. But given how predictable cancer deaths are and how common COVID vaccinations were in Japan in 2021 and 2022, it is very unlikely statistically that even a small increase could have occurred if vaccinated people were not the vast majority of those affected. In their discussion, the researchers noted several potential biological routes through which the mRNAs might drive cancer. Though none has been proven, the increase in cancer fatalities, now lasting 2 years, in one of the world's largest developed countries can no longer be ignored, they wrote. The coincidence of the timing requires an urgent and rigorous investigation, including analysis by vaccination status and clinical validation, they wrote. So that's the report. Very serious. This information coming out from Japan. It's going to be interesting to see what other information is allowed to come out. Obviously, there's other things coming out. There was another report where the CIA has finally come out again. I didn't report on it because, man, I thought there's so many reports about this generally, but they've come out again saying, yes, we do believe there's credible information that it was actually a lab leak. You know, we all know it was. We all believe it was. I think anyone who's watching this podcast, you're gonna believe that it was. There's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to these things. I do not believe. But the CIA came out again and said, yes, there's credible evidence that this was a lab leak. That's how we ended up with COVID-19. So the question is, was COVID unleashed upon the world on purpose? I think it was. And secondly, was the mRNA vaccine unleashed upon the world on purpose and not because it was actually a cure or to prevent COVID-19? Was it actually unleashed upon the world because in the long run, it would help bring down population of the globe? These are the questions. Will we ever find out the truth? America's at the moment, the only Western nation, I think, that has a leadership team that's actually willing to look into these things. We sure as heck do not have it in Australia. They are willing to go along, they're willing to go along with the false information that obviously this all came out of the wet market and all this kind of thing. We do not have the government that's willing to look into this, these kinds of scenarios, these kinds of theories properly. They are far more willing just to throw their population under the bus. Anyway, very interesting report. It'll be interesting to see what other information comes out and whether we are actually privy to that information or whether it's hidden for public consumption. Thank you for listening to The Slippery Slope. Please like and share and check out my music if you haven't also already. My name is Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Got my eye on the prize, gonna sail the clouds and see